Sometimes, you just gotta eat waffles for pancakes like Donkey.
Except it's not like Donkey, because Donkey doesn't put Greek yogurt on his waffles.
I'm keeping that in. I hope you know that. Anyways, hello. I am Flower, aka Rose. Um, what is my fun fact for the day? I like to hyperfixate on things. Listen, we should all know this because that's how this podcast was created. Let's be real. Um, but like also, I'm now hyperfixating on other things. So we love that for me.
Yeah, sure. I'm a supportive friend, but Jesus Christ, woman. Anyways, uh, I'm Fish, aka Stingray, and I have one very important question.
Mhm.
How can you see into my eyes like open doors, leading you down into my core, where I've become so numb, without a soul, my spirit sleeping somewhere cold until you find it there and lead it back home?
I'm just gonna guess this has something to do with a song or something.
Yes.
Oh, that is yeah.
Wake me up inside!
The way I knew this had to be the song. Oh my god. Anyways, this is a
Did you
very
know I was
much.
evanescence before this?
This is very much a stream of consciousness podcast, very similar to how we just talk to each other on a daily basis, but with less dog photos and back and forth.
Yeah, I think they gathered that from the fact that I just opened with evanescence.
Listen, I'm just moving on. Listen, the only Evanescence cover I know has blue, and we are talking about blue things today because we're talking about Ice Planet Barbarians.
That song is from the Blue album, aka Fallen. Thank you.
Wow, it's full circle. So yeah, Ice Planet Barbarians. That it's a book. It's a book. I feel like anyone
So I've
who
been a
has been on Book Talk has heard of it. It's like one of the main three books I know from Book Talk that like became popular because of Book Talk. The other one was Zodiac Academy, and I don't remember what the third one was, but they were like all self-published, and I'm pretty sure I don't think Zodiac Academy has been picked up by an official publisher now, but Ice Planet Barbarian has. I'm pretty sure, and the other one has. So you know, um, they got like the new covers that I do like more. I know you don't like the like cartoon people style, but I do like the new covers of Ice Planet Barbarian more than the originals. Um, and they
Is
also,
the real book color on Storygraph the original ones?
yeah,
Yeah, I like the new ones actually for those. Wow,
yeah,
shocker, I know. The new
yeah,
ones are actually really good. I've seen the new ones.
yeah. The new ones are actually really nice. And the art for the new ones is also the art on the wiki page. We'll talk about how I was on the wiki page. Yesterday
Ah,
morning. Um, so yeah, it's a thing. Um, it's a sci-fi erotica romance. Basically, a bunch of women uh end up on an ice planet. There's a species there that's friendly. Romance and lots of banging. Anyway, just a big giant sigh about the banging. Um, in grand scheme of things, this was not bad. Like it wasn't poorly written. I didn't mind the writing style. Um, I was mad about the actual romance aspect and the like sci-fi aspect. I was like mad about. Like it looks like there's supposed to be like a follow through of a plot. Like there's hints at other stuff in the story that I'll talk about. Overall story that like there's like lore in this book, and I'm just like I kind of like it.
lore.
I know, right?
Sexy alien lore?
There's weird, yeah. I'll tell you about it.
Oh,
There's lore, but like also it's just like it's 180 pages, right? The ebook is. The
what
audiobook is
is
like
so long?
I know, right?
Are
It's
you
like
okay?
I don't
This
No,
Oh,
we'll talk about it. Because
oh,
like the audiobook is 6 hours, so in me time that should just take 2 hours, right? But like no, I took multiple days to read this, and this is where we go into kind of the warnings beforehand, because there's gonna be a quiz that has absolutely nothing to do with this book. I don't think you remember that this quiz is happening, but
oh.
um there is a violent, graphic sexual assault scene in the first 20 minutes of the audiobook. I was not prepared. Um, it does not go into like detail, but it is pretty graphic, and then it's just like moved on from,
What is the reason?
and then the character dies like halfway through the book.
Okay.
Yeah, no, this is why I was on the wiki. This is why I was on the wiki, because I was thinking about it. I was like, it would feel weird if this character gets a romance arc and now, like, that's a little weird. And that's when I noticed that the new cover art is what they use for the photos, because the main characteristic we know about this character, whose name you don't learn until after she dies, but her name's Dominique, is that she's a redhead, and there's apparently a different redhead. So the only one that had like a picture of a redhead was a different character. So like I was figuring out if she gets her own book, but no, she dies in this book. So I kind of spoiled that for myself. But yeah, I read the first like 13%. I got past a little bit of it. They basically crashed onto the planet. And then I didn't read anything for like 3 days. So
As a whole, or just
like I didn't read anything for 3 days, like at all.
so irritating is this 180-page book, 6-hour audio sent you into a reading slump.
Honestly, which is
Maybe reading
why,
slump.
listen, the original premise of me reading these books for this podcast was like me reading them until I could talk you into reading them. You should not read them. Don't do it. Um, but
Yeah,
also,
you haven't sold me that far, so I have no interest currently.
when I was looking up, if this character has her own book and whatnot, I learned there's like over 16 books in this series.
Jesus fucking guys.
I know, right? And I don't
Listen,
want to do that to myself. So the current plan is that I read the first 3 books because I heard the third one is kind of actually really good. And a lot of people's favorite one. So I want to read the third one, so I'll read the second one as well. And I won't do
oh
them
my
back to
god.
back episodes. I'm feeling like every other episode will be the next ones in this series type thing. So like next episode will be something different. And then the one episode,
I need to get my shit together.
you really do. But the one after that will be the second Ice Planet Barbarians, and then a different episode, and then the third Ice Planet Barbarians, and then a different episode, and then probably some other erotic romance that I find. Cause hear me out, I keep on finding weird ones, like that Shrek one you sent me. So like,
You're welcome. You're
thank you
so
so
welcome for
much.
that.
Everyone in this podcast loves you for that.
You come full circle.
It's yeah. Um, but because just some grade A times happen in this book, and we need some fun times first. Why does it automatically make it so it mutes my mic every time I start it? Okay, sorry for the weird cut that I probably have to put in here, because Stingray got a call. Uh, but we're back. Um, and of course we have to talk about the lovely game we're gonna play, the lovely quiz. Um, which I'm calling the Sims 4 expansion pack quiz, which basically is going to be me really quickly listing off every Sims 4 expansion pack, and Stingray says whether or not they think I own it. Spoiler alert, I own a lot. Okay. We're gonna start with the stuff packs, which is like the smaller packs. They got very little stuff in them, which is great because they're called stuff packs. Ready for this?
It's working!
Hell yeah! Okay, we fixed Stingray's headphones, so hell yeah, we can do the quiz now. Stuff packs. I'm just gonna go through them really fast. I believe there's 12 of them according to this list. Um, 18. There's 18 of them. So I'm just gonna go through them really fast, and you just say yes or no. Luxury party.
Yes.
Correct. Perfect patio.
Perfect patio? Yes.
No.
Oh, really? Okay.
Cool kitchen.
Yeah.
Yep. Spooky stuff.
Definitely. If you don't, I'm gonna whack you upside the head. What the hell? Rose!
Movie
Rose!
hangout stuff.
What?
Movie hangout stuff.
That feels like something you would have for no fucking reason.
No, I don't.
Thank God.
Romantic garden stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. Kids' room stuff.
No.
Correct. Backyard stuff.
Yes.
Wrong. Vintage glamour stuff.
Oh, there's no way you don't have that. Come on.
Yeah, I do have that one. I'm trying to keep track on my fingers. You have 5 correct so far.
Oh yeah.
Bowling night stuff.
No.
Correct.
Wait. Okay. I was like,
Too late. I already told you. I gotta start writing down if you get them right. I'm gonna start with yeah. 5, 6. Fitness stuff.
that's a tricky one. Oh. My brain says yes, so we're going with yes.
Yes, technically. So my sister uses my EA account and she wanted the fitness stuff, so she gave me the like $10 to buy it. Um, because I had all the other expenses already.
Okay.
Toddler stuff.
No.
Correct.
Okay,
Laundry
after
day.
Oh. Yes.
Correct. First pet.
Like a game. Yes.
No.
Wow. Good.
Moschino, I think that's how you pronounce it.
No.
Correct. You're up to 10 right. Tiny living.
That feels like something you would have.
No, I don't have that one.
Um,
Nifty
wow.
knitting.
If you don't have this, I'm gonna whack you upside the head because that's so grandma.
Yeah, I don't have it.
What the hell was wrong with you?
Paranormal stuff.
Because you don't have spooky stuff, I'm gonna say no, but the answer's probably yes, isn't it?
No, I don't have it. And let me explain why I don't have the last 3 is because I stopped playing around the time that those 3 came out.
I'm sick.
So you got 11 out of 18 of those. Always have me auto mute on this computer. I don't know why. Anyways, so there was another fun break.
I apologize. It wasn't. Listen, it wasn't. I mean, it technically was my fault, but it's my mother. I got pelted in the head by hail. It's fine.
It's fine. There's a cute puppy in my room now. And I have a fun antidote after the quiz. But first we gotta finish the quiz. We're on to the game pack, in which there are 12. So,
Okay.
I believe in you. Do you think I have the outdoor retreat?
Yeah.
No.
Wow.
Do I have spa day?
I feel like you would.
Yeah. Do I have dine out?
Yes.
Yes. Do I have vampires?
I want the answer to be yes, but it's probably no.
You gotta choose one. Choose one in real quick.
I hate you. I'm gonna go with no because you don't have anything else.
I do have vampires.
Oh my god, I knew it!
Do I have parenthood?
No.
Correct. Do I have jungle adventure?
Logically, I feel like you wouldn't, but for some reason I feel like you do.
I don't.
Wow.
Uh,
Wow.
do I have Strangerville?
Yes.
No.
Why?
Do I have Realm of Magic?
No.
That is correct. I wish I did though, but these are like $30 packs, so yeah. Do I have Journey to Batuu? I think that's a Star Wars one.
See, I feel like you're trying to throw me off because you said it's a Star Wars one. So that leads me to believe that you don't have it.
Yeah, I don't have it, which is why I think it's the Star Wars one. Do I have Dream Home Decorator?
I'm gonna go with no.
Correct. Hi, puppy. Do I have My Wedding Stories?
I hope you don't. I really hope you don't.
I don't. Do I
Okay, good.
have Werewolves?
I'm gonna go with no.
Correct. You got 8 out of 12 right. Yeah, after Vampires came out, I didn't really buy anymore, especially after Strangerville. Like, Parenthood and Jungle Adventure really weren't my thing. And then around the time that Strangerville, which was like halfway through, uh, the list came out, I stopped playing regularly. So there was no point for me to buy anymore. Like, the only one that intrigued me was Werewolves, but when it came out, it was like really bugged and stuff. So,
No. Anyways, the reason I felt like you might have had the jungle one is because would you realistically have it? No, but it's random enough to maybe that you would.
I love that for me. Um, Now there is 12 of the expansion packs, which are like the really, really expensive ones. So have fun.
I'm gonna take a lot of guess and say you only have a minimum of those.
I'm looking at it. Do I have? I think I do have that one. I think you may be right. Okay, do I have the Get to Work pack?
That seems like one you would have out of those. I
I
don't
straight up
know.
told you, like, last week when I came up with this idea that I have that one, so. Yes,
I
I have
didn't.
that one.
You should
Um,
not.
do, Hi,
Anyway,
Bobby. You a cute puppy.
hold on.
Do I have the Get Together pack?
No.
Correct. Do I have the Sitting Living to get pack?
Have the what?
City
Living dead?
Living.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Do I have cats and dogs? This should be really easy, bestie.
But it's not because this. No.
I do.
Oh my god. I'm gonna kill myself.
Do I have seasons?
Yes.
No.
I thought
Do I have Get Famous?
No.
I do have that one.
Oh
Really
my god.
Do I have Island Living?
Yes.
Nope. Do I have Discover University?
University.
Yeah.
I hope you can hear me opening my medication right now.
Yeah, I can hear it. I thought you were opening deodorant.
No. Oh my god. No, you don't have university.
That is true. I have straight up told you that fact as well. Do I have Eco Lifestyle?
No.
That is correct. Do I have Snowy Escape?
No.
That is correct. Do I have Cottage Living?
You should. You should, but I'm gonna go with no.
That is correct. I really want. Listen. I'll talk about
I
it.
really hope.
Do I have
really
High
hope we
School
can.
Years, which is the last one?
Absolutely not.
Thank you very much for knowing me so well. That was 8 as well. Yeah, I'll do the math in a second. Basically, the last one I bought was Get Famous, which is halfway through the list. And like the only ones I really wanted after that one was University or Cottage Living. But like I never played enough to like make it worth it. Because they're like so expensive, and Cottage Living, if I just really want to live that life, I can just play Stardew Valley for the 10 billionth time. Like, let's be real. Okay, so there
I
were
really hope.
18 plus 12 total. And you got 11 plus 8 plus 8. You got 27 out of 42.
27
Yeah.
out of 42. I did pretty good, right?
You got 64%. You got a D. Which is
I
technically
passed!
passing.
I
Therefore,
passed! I really hope everybody enjoyed me seriously taking my medication.
I'm gonna enjoy that when I edit it in a week. Okay, so before we go into the actual book we're supposed to be talking about, you know that thing?
Yeah, sure, bestie.
Listen, this quiz took a total of I'm pretty sure like 15 minutes, close to 15 minutes.
And I feel like the 15 minutes was mostly the first part, wasn't it?
No, it's mostly this one.
Oh, fuck.
Bella, what are you barking at? She's growling. Just ignore her. I can finally close the Sims 4 expansion pack list. Thank God. Um,
I mean,
anyways,
I was supposed to wait like at least 8 hours between medication, and I had to wait closer to 10 to 12. Like it was, I could have, it's fine that I took it out, but also he tells me to take it 3 times a day on hard days. I'm like, but you told me
every
before
day?
I gotta wait 8 hours.
You mean like I'm supposed to take my... You mean how I'm supposed to take my pain medication when I'm in pain? And I'm like, so every day? I'd run out in like a week. Like, what are you talking about,
Real.
guys? I just save it for emergencies. I didn't even take it when my back was really bad the other day. I say the other day. That
Yeah,
was like
I know. I told
yesterday.
you to take it, and you're like, no, I
Yeah,
won't.
that sounds
I'm
like me. Hi,
stressed.
Bella. Hi,
I
Bella.
need more walk. I'm not walking back in there.
Um, anyways, the Daisy Jones and the Six thing that I want to tell you about. So I was playing games yesterday,
I
right?
thought that's what you said, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah. So I was playing games yesterday, right? And you know how they've had the trailer for the Daisy Jones and the Six movie, TV
Yeah.
show, like everywhere's. So it came up on the TV, and my mom and her boyfriend were watching TV, and I just hear her ask, "Daisy Jones and the Six, were they a good band?" I just moved on with my life, but I thought you'd enjoy that piece of
Oh
information.
my god. No, no, because some people probably actually think that too. Oh my god.
Yeah, I know.
We're the people who don't. Oh my god. Wow.
I'm pretty sure my mom's
I kind of
watching.
want to
Let's
read
see
it,
how
but
it
kind of
goes.
don't.
Hi, Bella. She brought the kangaroo up to me. You know the evil purple one that watches me?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I kind
Bella.
of feel like, you know how I was with Evelyn Hugo? Like, I didn't really care about it, but then I read it, I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
I feel like if I read Daisy Jones and the Six, the same thing would happen.
I think you'd really enjoy it. I don't think it'd be the book for me because I'm not as much of a music person, but you're very much a music person. So I think it could 100% be your thing.
Real. That's the biggest reason.
Yeah. Okay, so to actually talk about the book. So, well, I was waiting for you to come back, and I was like reading my book,
I'm sorry.
in which I was reading the first chapter about her meeting her husband and how happy they are together and all this stuff. And then when I went to look her up, I realized they're divorced as of recently. And then I didn't cry somehow. Um, I put in Ice Planet Barbarians into my book tracker, right? And apparently it took me 5 days to read it. So there were just 3 days in the middle where I didn't read anything.
And the only reason you did finish is because you did sprints. Okay, good to
Yeah,
know.
let's be real. That's the only reason I did. Also because I had the ebook from Kindle Unlimited, to like read along with. Because I think if I had just done the audiobook while playing video games like I did when I first picked it up, I don't think I would have been able to get through it.
No,
But
for twitching. Okay, sorry. I twitch sometimes. It's fine.
um,
Like full body twitch. Okay, like it's fine.
it's fine.
That's normal.
So there's not even really chapters. There's 6 parts. I call them chapters, but they're just parts. Um, and the two main characters in this book are Georgie, and Vecto. Vecto's obviously
Georgie, I'm sorry.
Georgie is from Florida. Fun fact.
Oh my god.
and Vectel, who is the alien. Um,
Victor?
Vectel, spelled
Victor?
Vektel.
Okay.
The way that the
You
ebook
know what I
really helped
mean?
me spell things, like the way things were spelled was so weird, and things would be pronounced like key, but it'd be
Those are
spelled like
aliens.
Khai or something. I'd be like, what the hell?
Aliens.
But yeah, when I started to
Aliens.
read this, I was like taking notes on my stack of blue sticky notes because I'm me, and I was like, this is a blue book because Ice Planet Barbarians. I'm gonna take notes on my blue sticky notes, and I'm gonna make a whole joke about it. All this stuff, blah 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 blah. Who freaking cares? Because as you know, as I was reading it yesterday during sprints, I was recording voice messages that I was gonna then transcribe onto the sticky notes. But then I decided last night at like 11 p.m. who actually cares how detailed I am about this plot and all this stuff? No one.
I
I do not need to transcribe all 50 of those stupid message. Like, no. No. I don't need to do that. It's not necessary. I
I mean,
remember what happens. I don't need to be that detail oriented. Um, so yeah. The first chapter or first part will probably be most detail oriented because that is the one that I have exact notes written down for, but the rest of them is just going to be based off of memory.
okay.
I was not going to put that much effort in it. I'm sorry. Um,
You know,
so,
and
basically,
we all can't be on my level, aka the probably 20 plus pages of notes I'll take for those things. That's
did
what I'm
you see
referring
me with Molly Southbourne, ma'am?
to. Be serious. You know, I will take at least one note per 2 pages of those things.
True.
We gotta be serious. Oh my
Um,
god, I'm in trouble. Okay.
so the book,
Continue.
it starts with Georgie waking. Well, she thinks it's a dream. She's having like a weird dream. But then she wakes up and turns out she's actually been kidnapped by aliens,
Oh.
and she's on a spaceship. There's four other girls at this point. She's a fifth one. They learn that all of them are 22, very healthy, and none of them have had kids before or were pregnant, except there's one girl who was pregnant when she was taken, and she was given a forced abortion.
Oh.
Uh huh. Uh huh.
Well, but you know we wouldn't be in this situation, right?
Yeah. So they only had one translator on ship. Uh, so they gave it to one of the girls. I think she's the one that's the heroine in the third book. So she's the only one that can understand their basically alien guards who are watching over them. And basically,
Um,
that's around the time when they wake up a sixth or bring in a sixth girl, right? And like this whole time, Georgie's being told by the other girls, like, don't make too much noise, don't do all this stuff. They don't have like proper food or accommodations for anything, including going to the bathroom, sleeping, anything. So they bring in a sixth girl, and she starts instantly screaming when she sees the aliens, and that's when the vivid, graphic assault scene happens. Yeah.
okay, realistically, I feel like that is a very realistic response. As in, I would also scream
I
and
know, right?
like lose my mind if I saw an alien,
So,
or I would probably be like, "Oh, an alien?
so
I knew those. I did
the
real."
reasoning why the guards do this is because they basically have orders to do whatever they want to keep them in line, and apparently that's the smart way to
I
do it.
there's a million different ways.
Yeah,
There's
they
any number of ways.
they
People,
learn.
aliens, creatures. I don't. What is respectful? What is disrespectful to aliens? That's the real question.
Yeah. Um, yeah. I'm just gonna
Do
move
they get
past
a
it because I have
what we call
thoughts
them
and
aliens?
opinions, and we don't need to go into detail on why. I really do not see why this was completely necessary. Like, it was within the
It was
first
not
20
necessary
minutes of
at
the
all.
audiobook, and I'm just going in thinking I'm gonna have a good time with like some aliens, and instead I get this in the first 20 minutes. Like, dear God, no wonder I set
And
down the
yeah,
book and didn't pick it up for 4 days.
it's as necessary as the second and third Molly Southbourne books.
I'm sick. That's actually really funny. So yeah, basically, there's these aliens took six girls and put them in basically pods inside the ship, and they're basically in cryo chambers, like asleep and whatnot.
Mhm.
And they think that they're being sold off to another group of aliens and all this stuff. But while they were
I
at Earth, they were like, hey, while we're here, we might as well pick up 6 more, because that's how many they could fit inside the ship as well. Like, they're all crammed in there, the 6 other ones that are awake. And so that's what these 6 are. They're those 6 girls, right? So there's 12 girls total, but 6 of them are sound asleep. Um,
oh
Eventually, they start making lots of comparisons to cattle. Like, they start, um, saying that, like, what if they're sold like cattle to be food, or bred like cattle, and all this stuff. And I'm just like, I just came here for some alien smut. Like, why?
no, metaphors that have to do with like animals and cattle really creep me out. I'm not gonna lie, but also just how animals as a whole. I don't like. Yeah, we understand. You get it.
Yeah.
I don't like eating meat, but I'm from Texas. Okay.
Um, love that for you. I think there's one girl who's southern in this.
Respect.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know if you can hear it raining, but it's kind of thundering and it's I don't
I
know what's
believe in you.
happening. So
I mean, you may be able to hear people downstairs in the kitchen. It's fine. The production,
I
the
don't know.
I can't speak words. The production of this is not top tier quality. Okay, I'm not even using a proper microphone right now.
Neither am I. I'm literally using it's the microphone that's picking me up right now is my knockoff AirPods.
I love that for you. It's just my computer for me.
I'm
Um,
literally on. Please be serious.
Maybe there were more girls. I think there were more girls. I think there were 8 girls, and I did the math wrong because there was a thing that happens later on that I just saw on my notes. Okay, so they kidnapped 8 extra girls and put them there. Okay, outside the pod, non-pod girls. There's 8 non-pod girls, right?
Non-pop.
Yeah. So they make an escape plan basically, where one of them is going to get attention of the guards by screaming. Um, and then all the other girls are going to start throwing all the buckets of their feces onto the aliens, and then they're going to steal the weapons and beat up the guards and try to figure out something to do from there, right? Um, and the only girl that's allowed to stay back and behind is the girl that has the translator, because if anything happens, they kind of need the translator, right?
Hold on. Hold on. Even if they did somehow disarm these guards, etc., they're in the middle of space.
Don't worry, we're getting there,
Right?
Bestie. Bestie, you're way too ahead. Just let me live my life,
I'm
okay?
too big brain for this situation, obviously.
Um, so they make this plan, and basically, so Georgie volunteers to be the one to scream to get the guards' attention. While all this is happening, while they're making the plans, there's like some weird turbulence with the ship and whatnot. Um, and
Turn
so
space.
the guard is kind of distracted, and he won't pay attention to her when she starts screaming. And like based off the stuff that we know with the last girl who screamed, we know what happens if something goes wrong and the other girls don't help her out. So she eventually just decides to start attacking the guard, and throwing the bucket of feces on him and all this stuff. Meanwhile, all the other girls decide, you know what? Never mind. I'm not going to help you fight him. So she has to fight the guard on her own, or else, yeah. And she's very much like, I'd rather fight dying, type of character. So
I mean,
she's
just to
going
be
down.
serious.
She manages to get the gun from the alien, but she doesn't know how to shoot it because it's an alien gun. So she basically pummels him to death with the butt of his own gun. And then
Um,
and then
she's killed an alien. We're not gonna. And she's like, okay, yeah, like that's still a sentient being, bestie.
oh no, she's like low key freak out. She's like, listen, I know this is not like a good creature. He brutally assaulted this other girl, all this other stuff, but like also, like, it was a living being that I just killed.
Yeah, I have emotions. I'm not a sociopath.
Yeah, it's like I it's mentioned like in 2 sentences and then it's forgotten.
Two sentences. Okay, sure. Be serious.
Anyways, turns out all the turbulence led to something with the ship crashing.
I
Yeah. And guess where they are? They're on an ice planet.
I understand the concept.
Yes. My note is quite literally, crash land to die. That's why I did the math wrong. So there are 6 at the end. So there's 12 total at the end. Um,
So you didn't lie. You're completely correct.
yes. Well, kind of, because I think there's another one, because
Well, if they're dead, they don't
I
matter.
don't know. The math's weird. Ice
They're not
Plant.
important to the story, they're dead.
Yeah,
You
no,
get it.
it's not
You have
important.
the
There's
math.
like 17 books in the series or something. That's all that really matters. And then my next note is
Yeah,
Ice
I
Planet
doubt that we're
Parentheses.
going to remember
Wow.
those other girls by the time we get that far in.
Yeah, like, do you really think I'm gonna remember that many characters? No. Um. Anyways, next note I wrote down was Ice Planet. Wow. They start calling it non-Hoth, which like Hoth is a snow planet from the original Star Wars movies. And there's quite a few Star Wars references throughout this book.
Literally, why?
I don't know. So basically they've crash
Like,
landed.
I get it, why?
They crash landed. They have no supplies. They're on the snow planet. There's like no insulation. Like it's a metal ship on a snow planet. So like, how are they supposed to get warm? They have no food, or water. And on top of that, the other aliens that like were on the main ship or something like that could show up at any moment to like come take them back, right? So they make a plan, uh, to like send someone out scouting for like food and water and whatnot. And so apparently they just make Georgie the defunct leader and send her out, which like hear me out. In any other survival situation like this, you know, if you're ever kidnapped by aliens and dropped on an ice planet, um you're not supposed to send one person out scouting alone. You're supposed to send multiple. So if in case something goes wrong, one of them can run back to the others,
all the
all this
rules.
stuff.
The rules state in absolutely everything ever is that the buddy system is the way. Because
Yes.
every time you split up, every time you have sex, every time you say you're doing one thing, then do the other, you die. That's the whole thing.
Yes.
It's not that complicated.
So, that's where my notes end that I physically took down. But don't worry, I got this memorized. So, Georgie takes the clothes, because, like, she's still wearing pajamas. They were kidnapped in their sleep, so they have pajamas on, and hers are shorts and a tank top. And you're on a snow planet. Like, you're not gonna stay warm long. So she, basically strips the alien guard and puts on his clothing. It doesn't fit her properly because different species and whatnot. Like they only have like 2 toes, so stuffing her feet in his boots is a little difficult and all this stuff. But basically, she goes out scouting. It spends a lot of time walking around. Finds basically a hot spring type thing. There's some weird crocodile-like creature. She runs away, freaking out. Runs through these alien trees. Gets caught in a snare. Is hanging upside down. I'm speeding through this part because it's not important. She's hanging upside down. And she's dropped the gun. And then she looks up, and there's this creature coming towards her. It's who we will learn to know is Vectel, her love interest in this book, right? He's coming towards her, but she passes out from the fact that blood's go into her brain and all this stuff, right? So he unhooks her from the snare, and and as soon as he does, he starts resonating, which is a term he uses a few times. I think this is when part 2 starts. There's a lot of stuff about skis or keys or something like that and resonating. Those are like the 2 main terms about these guys. I'm just gonna explain it to you now because it takes a bit for anyone else to learn. But like, here's what it is. Keys are basically these little worm parasites, symbiotes that the species on this planet, especially the ones that Vectel is part of, have in them in order to survive, because there's this gas on this planet that is very similar to nitrogen that is poisonous to species. So this worm is like your body heat keeps it alive, and it keeps you warm and makes it so you can breathe the air type thing. But also it makes it so when you find a mate that you can procreate with, it resonates and makes like a vibrating thing, and it sounds like purring.
You know
Now
what
the key word there is procreate.
Yeah.
When I was sending you voice messages where I was screaming, was the stuff when it started hinting at babies already, and I was. It does it pretty fast. It starts pretty early.
My first thought was, because you started talking about parasites and shit, was in fact, first it was Wilder Girl.
Yep.
And then it was Parasite, like.
I
anime?
first thought The Troop, which is
I didn't read that.
but like it's very similar to Wilder Girls. We talked about it in the Wilder Girls episode, or I did, because it's another retelling of Lord of the Flies, and
Wilder Girls Barbarians.
It's Wilder Girls Boys Camp Edition.
But hold on, could this also be considered a Lord of the Flies retelling?
No.
But like extra different, I don't know, like.
This book is so weird. Don't worry, we'll get into it. It's about to get good. By good I mean spicy.
I'm stressed.
We are maybe 20% into the book, and don't worry, they're about to have some form of sexual relations already. So basically he starts resonating, which means she is his mate. And when you have the resonating with someone, you have it's like very strong urge. You get it from Georgie's point of view eventually, spoilers. But basically you have like the very strong urge to like do it with that person like constantly, as like whenever they're close to you or anything. And so the fact that he holds off multiple times, you know, just further proves that he's a good guy, because he doesn't bang her in caves when she's upset? Question mark.
Do you mean he has self-control? That's the one thing. That's the
bare minimum. But yeah, so he takes her to a cave. So basically, he's out hunting for his tribe, and there's a bunch of caves to like hide in during nights, because it gets like really, really, really cold at nights, right? So you're supposed to go into these caves, and they pre-stock them when it's not really cold. Like, I assume there's warmer seasons, not exactly summer or anything, but there's warmer seasons where they stock them for these winter seasons when people go out hunting, right? Makes sense. Also, there's 2 suns. That's not important. I just felt like I should bring it up. There's 2 suns in the sky.
You know, the 2 suns is very important. Especially, yeah. You know where else there's 2 suns?
The real question is, if they're close to 2 suns, how is it an ice planet?
I don't know. I didn't write the book. I didn't think about this, the relativity of the 2 suns into the planet.
I'm sorry. I think too much about this sci-fi erotica romance with the aliens. That's how let me continue with the romance plot.
I'm serious.
So, he takes her to one of the caves to keep her warm, because he notices that she's, like, shivering cold, not shattering cold. So he takes her into a cave, and then he starts stripping off her clothes, because he's, like, intrigued by her, because she looks very different. They look very different. His people are one blue. They have, like, very tough outer skin, with, like, ridges and stuff, but it feels like velvet when you touch it. They have, like, horns. I'm sure you've seen photos. They have horns, and they have tails.
I'm sick.
And they have 4 fingers.
I feel like if Edward could, he would have a tail. I don't know why. He has that vibe.
But yeah, the ripped texture of things will come into play very soon, because he takes her to the cave. He starts stripping her. And he's all like, her skin is very soft. I like the smell of her. All this stuff. And then, he really likes the smell of her down there. So he just puts his whole face in there and starts sniffing. She is still asleep. And then he starts, having a little nibble, if you know what I mean. He's just...
Betsy, I would like you to know that you could use extra words here. I
don't want to.
Okay. Please continue.
Basically he goes down on her. She thinks it's all a dream. She's all like, wow, what a nice sex dream. And then, fun fact, his tongue is also ribbed. And in my notes,
Oh,
I remember in my voice memos, in my notes, I literally said, his tongue is ribbed for her pleasure.
Rose, please. Please.
Only I find it
I would
funny.
like you to know I'm literally in a ball. I have my squishmallow and I'm in a ball. I've had a day, and this is information.
Yeah. Eventually she wakes up and she's like, what the fuck? But
Real.
she lets him continue because he's doing a real good job. You learn a little bit about her sexual history, which is like she's had a few partners, very few of them were willing to go down on her, and none of them were as good as him. So she's like, might as well have a good time and then figure out what's happening after the fact, right? Eventually, listen, he does find
You're
a
two different
clip.
people. I was
He's never
freaking
seen
out.
a clip before. Apparently, the female of their species doesn't have one. At one point, he calls it a weird nipple.
I
Anyways, she comes, and then he's all like ready to go to Pound Town, and she's like, excuse me, no? I'm not prepared for that yet. So she kicks him in the chest with her foot as she's like trying to get away. And then it switches to his point of view again. Where he's all like, oh no, she hurt her foot kicking me. Oh no, and you start to see how he's very protective and caring of her. Like, yeah, he wants to go to Pound Town, but like also he wants her to be safe and cared for. Yeah.
Oh my god.
What?
I mean, continue to call it that, but like, oh my god. I can't do this. I'm sorry, continue.
um, she goes like, they start quote unquote communicating. They do not speak the same species. He can somewhat understand the bare minimum of what she says. She starts trying
Where
to
did
figure
people in
out.
English?
Yeah, no, he doesn't understand what vowels are, apparently. And so his words, she's like points to things eventually at one point, and he like says what their words are so that she can like understand what he's saying. Right. So, she's like freaking out. He's all like, "You're cold and hungry and thirsty." So he gives her some rations and starts a fire. With the rations, they're like eating straight up just jalapeno or something. So it like really burns her mouth. She spits it out. And won't eat it despite the fact that she's like starving to death. So he's like, well, fine. Here's some water or whatever. She drinks that, has a good time. They like cuddle in bed together. Next to the fire. And when she wakes up, she's like petting his chest. Mhm.
Like, I need this bitch to be serious. Like, there's like how many other people in this ship? And you just
Oh yeah, no, it's brought up multiple times that there's like all these like there's at least 5 girls on the ship and all this stuff. And she's just out here just like making out and banging this alien, just having a good time.
you know, apparently you gotta do what you gotta do. I guess. Apparently. That's what I've been told.
Yeah. So they cuddle. She pets his chest in her sleep. In her defense, it does feel like velvet, so like I can see why. And
What
so
are these creatures and having rock hard skin, but it's so soft?
yeah, basically, he's got rock hard ass, but he's so soft. Um, yeah, he really wants to pound one out some more. But he recognizes that she's probably really hungry. So she takes her outside, bundles her up in like his clothing, like his cloak and whatnot, so she can be warmer. And basically, in Twilight, how Edward can run really fast, and so he puts Bella on his back, and he runs around with her.
Yeah.
That's what I imagined in this scene every time they ran together, because like basically he can run really fast, and so he just gives her a piggyback ride.
So they're literally vampires, but alien and on ice planet.
Yeah.
So you're telling me? That's what you're telling me. Okay.
Yeah.
I knew. I was on the wavelength before you brought it up. Don't worry.
Yeah. So, he takes her to a hunting ground. He kills some animal. He feeds her raw meat, and she's like, "Dude, I prefer it cooked." In his culture, you don't cook meat. It's better if you just like eat it raw. But he's like, "No, you gotta eat something now." So like, she eats a few pieces of raw meat, but like, he gets more to cook later. For her, right? Um, and then they go to one of the springs where there's those weird alligator creatures. He scares them away with some berries.
Alligator fishes? I want to know more about
Um,
the alligator fishes.
I they are not described really at all, so I cannot tell you anything. I know she
Wow.
accidentally grabbed the nose of one at one point and then ran away through the trees, and that's when she got caught in the snare. That's it.
I mean, you can tell that there's two suns, and that this alien
Listen,
is
you
like
can tell which
eating
details she thought was important. Like his
I
dick.
want to know
That's
about
not.
the
We
I
don't
want to
talk
know
about
about the
dicks.
alien gators, the alien alligators.
Who cares about that? We gotta get to the point where we
On
can
the
talk about the
ice
alien
planet.
dick.
Oh my god.
This
Obviously,
is
we have different
very
priorities.
important, H. This is very important. This is very important, Stingray. This is very important. Um, yeah, so, they go to the spring. Basically, there's, like, these berries that the alligator alien things do not like. So, they just leave the area. And then the berries can also be used for soap. So she's like, cool, I can wash and drink something. And he's like, yeah, we can wash. So basically they strip down together, and go in the water. And this is when you see.
Is it not cold?
No, because it's a hot spring. It's a hot spring, so it's not cold.
Oh, my
It's
bad.
a sulfur hot spring, so it's. I mean, she says it smells like rotten eggs, so like sulfur. So I assume it's a sulfur hot spring. No, this is the first time she sees his dick, which means we get it described. You should know that he is 7 feet tall, so it's proportional.
Oh Lord.
AKA
Okay.
big AF. And also there's like this horn on it.
What the fuck?
That has a rounded tip.
Where exactly is it?
It's like near the tip, but also the whole entire thing is also ribbed for her pleasure. Are you happy yet?
No, I'm just trying to think of. That's fine. What is it these days? I'm like sharp. I'm stressed.
Don't worry, we'll talk about it later. Anyways,
Oh my god.
she's like really into him, and she starts to notice that she finds him really attractive. He's got this great jawline and all this stuff.
How are you attracted to the alien this quickly?
I don't know. It's literally been a day. Not even. Most of the time they've
What
spent
about
together, they've
everything
been
else?
asleep. But
I'm
anyways,
stressed.
she wants to get him to go up the mountain with her to go back to the spaceship to get the other girls, right? Because they're also starving to death and all this stuff, right? But
Right.
she doesn't know how to get him to go there. One, they can't really talk to each other. There's a lot of time that's spent with them, like trying to communicate, and it's really fucking annoying. I really hated it.
They probably hated it too.
Don't worry, there is getting a translator scene in this book, and then after that, I assume all the girls get translators, and so I will not have to worry about it for the rest of the books. I'm so happy with that fact. Anyways, so what was I saying? She wants to get him to go to the mountain. He won't like agree. His mind's only on the pound town, right? He decides to pet the cat, if you know what I mean. And then she realizes she can use sex to get him to do what she wants. So then she kisses him, but he's never kissed before because these aliens don't kiss. So,
oh my god.
So she teaches him how to kiss. They're making out. And she eventually gets him to agree that her original plan is to be like, hey, I will make out with you if you take me to the mountain. But eventually, they come to agreement where they will go to Pound Town if he takes her to the mountain where the where the ship is, right? So they head out to leave. They go up the mountain, all this stuff.
That's important.
But then it's starting to get too cold at night again, so she's getting really, really cold. So like he's taking her into another cave, and she's like, I don't want to stop yet. We gotta get to the other girls. Blah 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 blah. He's not like there's language barrier, so they don't know how to talk to each other. He just wants to take care of her. He doesn't understand why she's so like serious about getting to this mountain, all this stuff. So she decides to start walking on her own, and then falls into this cavern that has alien monkey creatures that start trying to beat her to death.
Sorry, what?
Yeah. So he jumps down into the cavern, roars at them until they all leave, picks her up, and leaves. They go into a cave, then, they're just, like, having a good time. And by have a good time, I mean he cooks her food, he cooks her food, she eats, and now she's all better. I should mention during this crash in general, like, she's had, I think, 2 bruised ribs from the crash, but also, like, she sprained her wrist, and, like, from falling into this cavern, doing all this stuff, she, like, it keeps on getting more and more bruised, and so he, wraps it up for her and binds it so that, like, it's okay. He lets her keep one of his knives so that she feels safe. He holds her to comfort her, because she's, like, really depressed that she can't get to the other girls, all this stuff, right? And then, because he's comforting her, they go to Pound Town, finally. They haven't even gotten to the mountain yet. Like, what was the point of that deal? You know? Anyways, they do it, like, 12 times, in the same night. Yeah, it's fucking insane. And you know that little horn? You know, it's perfectly placed to perfectly press her clitoris at the same time. So, like...
I'm sick.
So not only is it red for pleasure, but it also vibrates for pleasure because he's resonating the whole time. That's also a thing. She thinks he's just purring. Like every time he's like really turned on by her, the resonating just like kicks up even more, and so she thinks that he's just purring because he's into her.
Oh, that's kind of funny.
It's really funny when he brings it up to her and she like tries to describe a cat to him. It's actually really funny. So they do that. She feels bad that she went to Pound Town instead of saving the other girls. She wakes up in the middle of the night. He has her eat more food, and he's all like, "Hey, I'm gonna get more food. I'll be back." And eventually she's like, "Okay, sure, whatever." So he goes out to get food. He's just having a good time. He's all really happy because he's mated with his resonant person, right? She does not know that they're mated. Also, when she goes to bang him, she's all like, "Well, at least we're different species, so I don't have to worry about birth control." But you know how I said resonating means that you found your mate for...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah. So basically he's like really happy because she may be pregnant, but he's got to get her back home because he has to get one of the skis in her, the key things in her. Oh, the worms. I'm just gonna call them the worms because there's no way I'm pronouncing the word right. He has to get one of the worms in her because if she doesn't have a worm within 8 days of the crash, she will be poisoned to death by the air, right? She does not know this, but he's gotta like get it to her as soon as possible. But as he's like walking around, collecting this food, having a good time, he finds a foot, and this foot has 5 toes, like Georgie. And so he's all like, "A human like Georgie? Oh no!" And he removes her from the snow, and he freaks out. So he runs back to the cave, gets Georgie, brings Georgie back to the woman, and it's Dominique, the woman from the we know her. It's described later, but basically what happened is that shortly after Georgie left, those monkey creatures came to the ship and tried to bang on the doors and try to get in. So after they left, a bunch of girls got out to like collect snow to drink, like to eat so they could have water, right? But also like if something came, they could like throw snowballs at them or something. And while they were out there doing that, Dominique just ran out on her own into
I
the wilderness. She just ran away. It was assumably by trauma of everything, right? And no longer having a will to live. One of the other girls, I think her name's Willow. I think she's the other redhead. Tried to go after her, but she couldn't find her. And by the time she had come back, her feet were like all frostbitten and stuff. And it's like not like it's warm in the ship, so like I assume her feet are still frostbitten by the end of the book, but like it's fine. Like she should have lost some toes, but I think it's fine. I think it's just ignored. It's fine.
um hear me out. From now on, I'm sleeping in sweatpants, but also a shirt and socks, just in case I mysteriously happen to get abducted by aliens in my sleep and taken and crash land on a strange ice planet. I think that's a good idea.
So at this point, Bechtel has finally realized, hey, the reason why she wants to go up that mountain is because there's more women like her up there. And he gets really excited. Not by the prospect of, like, figuring out what his mate wants or any of this stuff. He gets really excited because this is where we learn that Bechtel is the chief of his people, right?
I'm sick.
I don't know why he's the one out hunting for food and what they're doing now that he's been missing for like 3 days with Georgie, but that's beside the point. That's beside the point. Because despite the fact that there's like dozens of male, I think there's like 20 unresonated males, in this tribe, there's only 4 females. So, like, the prospect of having more girls who they could possibly resonate with and then procreate with is like a really good idea for their tribe so that they could continue making more babies because like there's like 24 people who are adults in this whole entire tribe, right? Makes sense. So he's all like, hell yeah, let's go get these women. So they go up the mountain, and she enters first. They throw a snowball at her, and she's like, guys, seriously? That's when you learn what happened with Dominique. And then, basically, Bechtel just jumps in, and they're all like, oh my god, and she's like, don't worry about it, he's fine. And he's just, like, standing there purring, petting her hair. It's really funny. And, basically she describes that, like, he has people that, are friendly. They could, like, go, find them and, like, hide out there until they figure out a next step. They have food and water on them to give to the girls, and also, like, all the extra clothing and furs that they collected from all the caves that they give to the girls so they can stay warm. Bechtel's very upset that she's giving away all this food and warmth. He's like, girl, you need some for yourself. And she's like, nah, I'm just going to give some of it away. And he's just like, stop. Let me feed you. And all the other girls are like, dude, he's helping us. Let him fucking feed you. If that makes him happy, let him fucking feed you. He's very much the type of, his love language is taking care of you type person, right?
Yeah, right? I've gathered.
So, and I feel like hers is either physical touch or, quality time or something like that. So, he realizes there's like, I don't know, like 5, 6 other girls. He does not know about the pod girls yet. Cough, cough. He learns, that there's 5, 6 other girls that he could take back to his tribe, so that means 5, 6 other people that could be resonated. Ooh, fun! So, the girls, take a sidebar and they start talking, and she's like, hey, this is what's happening, blah, 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 blah. They're all like, oh my god, you totally banged the alien dude, and she's like, shut up. I feel bad that I left you guys all here alone when I was banging the alien dude, and they're like, dude, do what you gotta do. At least you're having a good time. Body order.
We are because I would be upset because like, why are you banging this alien when I was
that, like, at one point, one of them when they're talking about Dominique, they're like, yeah, no, Dominique, like all this stuff and blah blah, and how like difficult it's been for them and all this stuff, and Bechtel, or like not Bechtel, she's all like feels bad that she like was out banging an alien dude while they're suffering, and they're like, don't worry about it. It's just what our life has been the past 4 days, starving to death. Slowly. Anyways, eventually, they realize that the other girls are really sick. They're getting really sick, by this poisonous air, right? And the only reason that Georgie is not as sick as them is because she has had proper food and drink and warmth this whole time. thanks to Vectel. Right? So Vectel makes this plan where he's going to take Georgie back to his tribe. Uh and then when he gets there, he's gonna tell them all what that there's all these women there, and so they're gonna take like all this food and stuff to get the woman and take them back to the tribe as a group. So they gotta go back there first, but he can only take one of them at a time, and he's gonna take Georgie with him, and it's gonna take 2 days to do it, right? They're gonna have to stop once during the night. You know what happens then. But first, because what's her face has the translator, she knows what he's saying. So when he calls Georgie his mate, she knows it, and she's like, "Oh, excuse me, mate?" Question mark, and then it's dropped for the meantime. So then they go and make out in a corner of the spaceship while everyone else is trying to sleep, and someone's like, "Go get a girl." I'm really glad Dominique's dead for this because we don't need to traumatize her more. Um, he tries to go pet the cat, and she's like, no, I don't want to do this in public. You learn that his species is very much willing to do it in front of other people. Very much giving me Dothraki from Game of Thrones. You will not get that reference. Other people maybe will. But he recognizes that humans are not like that. So he's just like, oh, you don't want to do this right now in front of other people? Cool. And then they just cuddle and go to sleep. Because he's nice like that. So they go out on their adventure. They have a good time. The first day, nothing really happens. Let's be real. They stop at this weird ship. He mentions that, like, from his point of view, it's mentioned that, our real ship. It's a weird cave. He mentions it is a cave where the founders came from. The founders of his tribe came from, right? They go into this area. She's like starved. She's like a little cold and whatnot. And instead of making a fire, they bang one out. But right afterwards, she notices some weird light on the walls, and she gets up, and she's like, noticed when they first entered the cave that, like, it's like a weird shape for a cave to be. Like, it's not a natural cave shape. So she looks close up like, she makes a fire, brings the fire to, like, the edge or something like that, and she notices that, hey, that weird light is lights from buttons from a spaceship. It's another spaceship. So she starts, breaking through the ice with the fire, right, trying to melt it. And as she's doing this, she's thinking, hey, I should give the other girls, like, the option to leave, but, like, I don't want to leave Vectel behind. I really like him. And then they enter the ship. Oh God. And then the computer on the ship... 2 days, the computer on the ship, speaks English, tells her that they're very, very far from Earth, and that Vectel's people came here, from another planet. They were a pleasure ship. The founders, this was like a pleasure ship, that crash landed, or not crash landed, but they had to, like, do emergency landing because there was a solar flare or something like that. And then the pilot had basically a heart attack, and so no one else could pilot the ship. And that's why, they're here. They're not even from this planet. And the only reason she learns about the worms at this point, and that's how they're alive, and she learns that she's, like, straight up dying, and if she doesn't get a worm, soon, she will die. And if she does get a worm, she can't leave the planet. Because a worm can't survive off this planet. So, like, oh my God. Yep. So she's either gotta get off this planet within the next few days, or get a worm and stay on this planet forever with Vectel. But she's like, it's gotta be a group decision. It can't be me a decision. And then the computer gives her basically a thing so she can understand Vectel, officially. Yay! No more of that weird, annoying communication system. They can now talk like normal people. Ugh. I breezed through how annoying it was, but it was, like, every time it was his point of view, every time she spoke, there were just no vowels in anything she said. So you can imagine how fun that was.
Okay, but, like, you're literally an alien race, and you're living in space, and you're in a spaceship, and you go from one planet to the other, etc. But you're not smart enough to have a backup pilot.
Yeah, apparently they were supposed to have one, but there was something wrong with him.
Oh my God. That's why you get another backup for the backup. I don't know.
So yeah, basically they start having a conversation. She learns what resonating is, um, which is really funny because that's when the whole conversation where she like tries to explain to him what a cat is. She's like, I thought you were just purring. He's like, purring. She's like, like a cat. He's like, what the hell is a cat? And I'm just laughing my ass off while I'm reading that part. I'm like, this is the comedy. This is what I wanted the whole book. Instead, I got all this weird shit instead. Okay, um, but basically she learns that she is his mate. And then she recognizes he like it's not brought up. The procreating is not brought up yet, but he does say that she needs to get a worm suit and all this stuff. And they will hunt the creature that has the worm soon. Once they get the rest of the girls, right? Uh, they get to his tribe. All the tribe members are like, "Oh my god, what the hell is that?" when they see her. And he's all like, "Hello, this is my mate. She may not be conventionally attractive to all you lot because she is different, but I love her and she is beautiful to me." Um,
I
it's supposed to be this whole speech. It's like a whole paragraph long. It's supposed to be this whole speech about how he finds her beautiful, not only on the outside but on the inside too. And she thinks it's really romantic. I was just trying not to gag.
I okay.
I'm trying to speed through this because without the 2 times that we had to stop, this is 58 minutes long.
I believe in you.
Yeah. There's a
Unfortunately.
lot of stuff. Basically, she officially learns that the other guys want to go to get the girls because, and I quote, or not, because, they want to be able to resonate, and all this stuff. And she's like, hot take, you gotta give them the chance and you gotta be slow with them because, like, they don't understand anything that's happening and all this stuff. And Vector agrees. Basically, it's put into decree that if you do resonate with a girl, you gotta be slow about it. You gotta be nice about it. Like you gotta be a gentleman about it. You can't just be like, "You're
Have
mine,"
to be
and then
normal.
take her away into the cave. Cough, cough. That happens.
Yeah.
He goes to talk to all the boys about the plan to go get the other girls, while he sends her to his basically room, his house, I don't know, uh for her to stay in, and sends the medicine woman after her. And the medicine woman is like trying to heal her, but like she doesn't have a worm, so like it's really difficult to do. Because like she's got the busted up rib. What am I saying? She's got the busted up wrist. There we go. And also more injuries from like the monkeys and whatnot, right? Um, and then she learns that Medicine Woman used to bang Vectol until she resonated with her mate. And she wasn't originally happy about it because he was like more of a constructor and not like a hunter. But like she's happy about it now, and they have like 4 kids and all this stuff. Around this point, she learns that like no wait no that's not yet. Never mind, ignore me. They make a plan to go get the girls. And more like you gotta be a gentleman about it, blah 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 blah. He sends out people to get food, so they have plenty of food to take to the girls. He talks about what these girls are like, blah 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 blah. They still do not know about these 6 extra girls in pods. Yeah, I love this is
Uh,
a very rose heavy episode again.
I have no thoughts. Like I literally can't. There's nothing I can say to add to anything.
Um,
I'm just, I'm just
um,
absorbing this information.
yeah. Um, so he shows up. Eventually, he shows up back to his house. And he like walks in. It's like night. It's dark out. She's basically asleep. But he crawls into bed with her, and he's like, "Hello, my sweet. I am here." He calls her his heart actually. So he's like, "Hello, my heart. I am here. It's just me." And curls up around her, but she's like ready to go to Pound Town. Around this point, he recognizes that she does not have a tail. Which means like he's behind her, like they're spooning, right, and he's the big spoon, and he recognizes that does not have a tail, which means doing it from behind is a thing that they could do. Which is
Oh my
spoiler
god.
because like it's foreshadowing for the fact that the last time they do in this book they're gonna be doing it from behind. I hope you're so happy about this information. um so yeah, so they do that. And then they wake up in the morning, and then basically that's around the time that he's all like, we gotta get you the worm thing because of it will keep you alive, but also in case you have a kitch. And she's like, excuse me, kitch? I'm pretty sure that means child. And he's all like, yep. And she's like, bitch, what the fuck? I thought we were different species. I didn't think that was a possibility. And right before they banged that time, she was like, at least I can't get pregnant because we're banging all the time. And then they, it cuts them waking up and him being like, hey, you could be pregnant.
You know,
And she's like, oh, fuck. But it's just ignored. And they go to get the
I
other girls. But when they go to do like anything else, and he's all like, "You gotta be safe." And she's like, "Oh fuck yeah, you're right. I'm pregnant, possibly. God damn it." Um, they go and get the other girls. She mentioned she may be pregnant, so like that may help the decision making of whether or not they're gonna leave in the other ship because like, just imagine going back to Earth after being kidnapped by aliens and then giving birth to an alien baby. Like, you know, understandable. So they decide, as a group, to stay on the alien or on the planet, right? But then they try to decide should they tell the other people, should they tell them about the 6 girls in the pod, and should they wake them up? They decide to do that. The girls start waking them up, and like keeping them more like, yeah. And then Georgie goes to Vector and is like, hey, guess what? There's also like 6 extra girls in pods. Hi, love you. Also, we're staying on the planet. And he's all like, hell yeah, 6 extra girls to resonate with. Fun times. And she's like, not the purpose, my dude. Like,
I'm
come
sorry,
on.
I'm just trying to figure out if their children would be blue or not.
The 6 other girls, like, they're not really talked about. They complain a lot, apparently, because they haven't they haven't had to go through all this shit, so they're like, oh, we're cold, oh, we're hungry, and everyone's like, shut the fuck up, you haven't had to go through all this shit. Which, like, yes, but they still were kidnapped and put in pods in hibernation for who knows how long. Like, come on. And you just woke them up and, like, without asking like, you're staying on this planet. They don't know anything about anything. Yep. I assume at one point they get translators, so the other girls get translators, who knows. They go out to hunt the monster that has the worms. It's a big giant monster. There's a reference to Jurassic Park because of the way that it stomps around. Vector kills it. And the whole time, Georgie's watching this really scared for him because she's like, oh my god, I love you, you can't die. And then he guts it like a deer, like a very, very, very big deer, cuts out its heart that is still beating, cuts it open, and a bunch of worms climb out of it, and that's the worm creatures. And Georgie decides, hey, because I'm the defuncto leader, I'm gonna be the first one to get a worm. So he cuts open her neck and puts the worm in there. And then she passes out, and then she wakes up. I'm going really fast. She wakes up back home, back in his home. I think it's back in his home. Maybe it's not. I don't know. They're somewheres. And she wakes up and he's there. And she's like, oh my god, I'm warm and also I'm resonating with you. And it's like very strong. She's like, I want to go to Pound Town. Real strong. They do some finalizing of figuring stuff out. He like sends a few more guys out to get more food for the girls because there's like 6 extra girls they didn't know about, right? That they gotta feed. Take them back home, all the stuff, figure out plans, and then he takes her a distance away to go to Pound Town because he's like, I don't want them to hear your screams of pleasure because I know you are worried about that, but you're really loud. Okay, so this is the last time they bang. And not only is it doggy style, it's resonating style. And because of the resonation, the worm thing, you know what? You don't need to know that detail. It's fine.
What detail?
This whole time, every time they did it, basically his cum was really, really warm in her. But because of the worm making it so her body warmth is in general warmer, it wasn't as warm as normal.
Okay.
You forced this out of me. I wasn't gonna tell you about it.
Listen, I need all the information, okay? I will always request all the information, even if I actually don't need all the information.
Instantly afterwards? Right
I'm gonna sit
right
down. I'm
before they
already
finish,
sitting down.
right before they finish, so like I forgot to mention this. The reason why they left the first ship very very fast when they left with all the girls to go to this other location is because the aliens that had kidnapped them and dropped them here had come back, right? Um, so they're like, oh shit, we gotta get out of here. And so they run away, as you do. And so right before they're about to finish while they're doing Pound Town, they see the ship go away because they locked a bunch of the monkey creatures in the ship, and so or put like their trackers on the monkey creatures, right? Because they have trackers in their arms. They cut open their arms and take out the trackers and put them on the monkey. It's not.
Oh my god.
So they're like, we don't want monkey creatures, so they just leave. And so they see them leave. Uh, and and then it's presumed that they are like together forever and will have a big giant happy blue family. And yep, that's it.
No, like realistically, would the children be blue?
I think they are.
Real, okay.
I think they are. Uh, Bobbies. Am I looking up? Ice Planet Barbarians babies. Oh yes, I remember one of the covers has. It's called Ice Ice Babies. Ice Planet Barbarians, a slice of life short story. Actually, it's Ice Ice Babies : Ice Planet Barbarians : a slice of life short story.
Just like that.
And it is. They are blue. The babies are light blue. The dads are like seem like a dark, like almost like cobalt blue, and these are like a pale pastel blue. So I'm thinking like a mix of it made it like lighter blue, but yeah, they're blue.
I'm stressed.
I don't know which mother this is. This is Nora. I don't know which one that is. You really think I remember any of them? I remember Liz and Willow other than Georgie. I don't even remember which one is the one from the third book who has the tracker thing. I don't remember her name. And Willow I only remember because she's the other redhead whose feet are frostbitten. And Liz I remember because uh, when at one point I forgot to mention this. So one of the other tribe members who like has kind of been very standoffish, especially with the humans, but especially with Georgie, resonated apparently with Liz, and took her, kidnapped her, and went away. He just took her to a cave, and that's the setup for the second book.
I don't know what to do with this information. Like, it's just in my brain. Like, what do I do with that information?
Cry?
I mean, that's a good option.
I like if you listen back to my voice messages, my voice memos, I'm pretty sure it's a lot of just me screaming. Cause like, yeah, yeah, it's it's an experience I lived. This is gonna probably be another hour and a half long episode.
It's also an experience I lived secondhand. So,
Do you have anything else to say?
nothing constructive now.
I will say this wasn't poorly written.
It sounds fun.
It's not poorly written. It's just
Like at one point I was like, maybe I'll read it, but at the end, right now, no. I don't think I'll be reading it.
There was like a middle bit where I was actually having a good time. It
sounds fun. Like, aliens are fun.
totally.
I like aliens. They're fun, but like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. Um, but yeah, that's the wild ride of that book. It's not poorly written, so I don't mind reading two more. I just was not expecting that stuff in the very, very beginning.
Really?
So it took me out of it for a bit. But once I eventually got back to it, I think reading along with my Kindle was also a good idea. So, yeah. I don't know what the next episode of this podcast will be. It will probably either be Carmilla, because that's a fast book for us to reread, or that romance book you told me to read that I'm reading for that book. You know, the one I can't remember the name of.
This is things we never got over or
Yeah,
unleashed.
yeah, that one. I gotta read that one at some point. Um, but also for the other
Please,
people,
I need to reread it.
at some point, Soul to Keep is gonna be a book we read. Probably won't be an episode until either end of April, beginning May. I'm thinking, because this episode goes up the second to last Friday of March, because the last day of March is a Friday. Um, and it's our March buddy read, so I'm thinking it's gonna probably be like late April episode. Um, Especially with all the back and forth between me reading weird erotica books and then us talking about books together.
I don't know. I don't know what's happening.
I don't
I'm
know
just
what's
not
happening
in the
either.
mood.
We really got to figure out what video we're to do, or what video, what book we're gonna do next and whatnot. But that's beside the point. Um,
If we do an episode on Unleashed, that means I need to reread it, right?
oh, not you making me do 2 episodes on books I'm reading this month for a vlog based off of you.
I mean, I asked. I don't know. I don't know what's happening.
I don't know
Okay.
either. I'm trying to
I don't
plan
know.
things. Do we know how my brain's been working recently?
Yes.
Um, not to just be yes. By the point that this episode goes up, the poll will have ended on whether or not you have to read either my favorite historical romance or the first romance I ever read. Um, so that's a thing.
I don't want to be historical. I really don't. Unfortunately.
I know you don't, but I'm gonna force you to read A Week to Be Wicked one day. One day. Somehow. Uh,
I read The Witcher King, so I have to return the favor eventually, right? I mean, you read The Witcher King. You know what
yeah.
I mean?
The way that this is perfectly ending because I gotta go because my dinner's ready. Wow.
I'm
So, yeah, linked below in the description is our link trees with all our social media. Some psycho is now doing Twitch as well. We don't need to talk about me. I have issues. Um,
you do.
I do. Um, and yeah, that's the end of this podcast. I'm gonna close it off like real fast because I want to go get my dinner. I'm hungry.
Okay.
So bye. And we'll talk to you next Friday.